is political. All art is political. All this, like anything that's created by another person, is essentially a political statement because everything is political. The moment that society is being informed and people have to sort of like try to find ways to sort of maneuver their perspectives and approaches towards other people, that kind of becomes a form of politics because society is political. Social stuff is political. It's like, when you think of politics, you think about laws. You think about laws, you think about what motivates says laws. What motivates laws? Behavior. So it's like, maybe like language, behavior, so like social cues. People just sort of some people approach things in a certain way that other people don't. So some people also try to find ways to communicate with each other. And everybody communicates in different ways. Some people communicate through their artwork. Some people communicate through their forms of expression that can be. All art is political. Because here's the thing. Here's how you know that art is political. If somebody were to just draw a circle on a piece of paper and just put it on the wall, you're going to look at that circle on a piece of paper and go, what does it mean? There's two types of people when it comes to artwork. There's people who don't think about artwork in any capacity, and then there's people who just hyper focuses and tries to overthink the artwork. Sometimes it's like, it's like some people can be like, well, the curtains are probably blue because it represents, such and such, blah, 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 whatever. Another person's going to be like, dude, the curtains are just blue. These are like two different aspects, and these are the discussions that we normally have. The reason why I'm even making this video is ultimately because there was a discussion about like fictional characters having certain political outlooks, and it actually was a thing. Somebody actually said that the One Piece wasn't political, and it's like he freed slaves. Like, there's a moment in One Piece where slaves are freed. There's literally one of the most iconic moments in One Piece is when Luffy, the main character of the story, punches a guy in the face who was about to shoot one of his slaves. And in the process of him trying to shoot one of his slaves, he shoots another slave. And Luffy is just mad at slaves getting shot and punches the slave guy in the face. Type it up. It's called Saint Charlos gets punched in the face by Luffy. It's the most satisfying thing you'll probably ever see. In One Piece, they talk about like racism, they talk about class warfare, they talk about oppression, fascism. They talk about post-war. And the thing is that this is a thing that happens in a lot of stories, especially in a lot of stories nowadays. We tend to forget. Like, people are like, well, Luffy's actually a bad guy because he's a pirate. It's like, do you understand what the world government is doing with the Navy in that series? It's like, of course he's going to be a pirate. He's anti-establishment because the establishment is whatever the heck Emu is doing, or whatever he's called. Emau. I don't know how you pronounce it. But the fact of the matter is that the reason why I'm saying that is because of the fact that as a society, we need to just have a discussion about like media literacy and just re-explain what words are, what words mean. Because a lot of people think that it's villainous now to pick on Trump supporters because of the fact that people are like, yeah, I'm in my villain era. I'm bullying bullies, which means I'm a bully. No, you're a superhero, technically. It's like, if bullying bullies was considered something villainous, then there would be no such thing as superheroes. Because what are superheroes except people who just put the paws on people who hurt innocent people? You don't make sense. Y'all are just trying to redefine words to just make it seem, because y'all don't like the idea of being good anymore. So y'all just like the idea of just being mean and being cruel, and it's like, I'm tough, I'm a bad guy. It's like, no, you're not. You're doing good. You can't call yourself a bad guy and do good things. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I'm just weird. Maybe I'm just old fashioned. But that's what it used to be. That's what being a villain means. You used to hurt people because you were villainous. And now people are like, well, if I make people feel bad by existing, that I'm a villain. No, you're a victim of bigotry. Like, what is happening? Like people are so like we really need to like media literacy and the Marvel movies. I will always blame how like movies are written that like made people just sort of go into this whole perspective that being evil is actually being good, and being good is actually should be shunned because well like nobody's really good, so technically we're just not as evil as everybody else is because goodness is a completely fictional concept. Utopias aren't real. Like I'm just saying, we live in a world nowadays where it's like, but I'm getting like off thing. All art is political. And the reason why art is political is because of the fact that you're kind of you're trying to make sense of somebody else's perspective in a way that it can also, in a way that you can understand the perspective as well. Sometimes the perspective is going to get really taken out of context because stuff is just confusing. Stuff is just confusing. There was this one movie I saw, Les Seignets, Les Seignets. I forgot I don't know how you pronounce it, but it was a really long movie now that I think about it. But it was ultimately about these two women who were apparently going on a bit of an adventure. Not really an adventure. It was like something happened, and something happened, and somebody died, and they were transporting this dead body all across the country. And in the process of them trying to transport this dead body all across the country to like I guess and try to hide the body or whatever, it was like all of these random things was happening during the process, and at some point the ending is just really confusing. I really forgot the point. I was so long ago when I saw the movie, but then I did a little deep dive into the movie, or at least I tried to, and I found out that the movie was sort of like some sort of protest piece against corrupt business practices in Cameroon. And I'm not Cameroonian, and I don't know anything about Cameroonian politics, so a lot of this stuff probably wouldn't have made sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, les seignets, let's in English it's the bloodettes. Um, but in any case, though, I'm watching this movie and it's like, of course I'm not going to understand it. Of course it's going to be a little confusing to me. But I just thought, oh, it might be something I could like get into, check out. The reason why I'm saying this is ultimately because of the fact that it's like a lot of times some things in like I said, media literacy has been whooping people's behinds for like the past decade, and now you got people out here just basically saying that like Luffy would have voted for Trump. Like no, he would not. If Luffy was a real person and me and my homies got together and fed Luffy, he would punch Donald Trump in the face. Like Naruto would probably try to talk to him. I'm sure. Like Naruto is a very diplomatic individual because he's seen war and he needs to know how to. He's seen war and he likes the idea of not having war, so he would like to talk to the guy. But I'm pretty sure the situation called for it. He probably put the paws on him too. What about Ichigo? I don't know anything. Like I don't watch enough Bleach to understand Ichigo, the political standpoint of the Gotei 13. But I do know that the other guys were bad. But what I'm trying to say is that we live in a world right now where we're trying to there's a narrative being pushed where people are saying art isn't political. Art shouldn't be political. It's like somebody would just look at One Piece and say it's the pirate show. And it's like there's so much deeper things that go into it because all art is ultimately political. Look at Sesame Street. Where does Sesame Street take place? In the hood. Why? Because it was supposed to be relatable to black kids who, if I'm not mistaken at the time, buying a babysitter was dang near impossible when you were black and poor in that time frame. So of course the TV would be a babysitter. So you got these little kids shows dedicated to be. It took place in the hood, y'all. I mean that would be considered the upper class hood by today's standards, but it was technically supposed to be the hood. You know what I'm saying? But people are like, Sesame Street is bad because, I'm just throwing this out here. If you're watching anything fictional, every song you listen to, every TV show you watch, every single thing that you have to deal with, at some point, you have to realize that there was something in there that is going to, do you not understand that every story has morals in it? Do you need somebody at the end of every episode of every TV show to go, well, the moral of the story here today is, and they used to do that too. So, how did an entire generation that basically like get programmed into like trying to be better people through television shows grow up to become these deficient individuals? It's just nothing short of just stressing me out. But all art is political. Like, think that, understand that. Like, don't fall for the narrative of, oh, this art used to actually be cool before politics got involved, because it was always involved. The dude who drew in that church, what is it, the sister, the 16, I think I'm saying it right, the 16 chapel, right? The dude who was like in that church, he drew there was like, hey man, no nudity, and he drew a whole bunch of nude people up there. I forget how the story goes, but the fact of the matter is, he did that because he was told not to, and he was like, man, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Y'all about to see all these naked people. Art has always been political. That's the point that I'm trying to make, and it's just like, if you look into an art piece, if you deep dive into any art piece, it will be something. A message is there. And it's a message that I feel like the whole art is a political narrative is just people getting mad because it's not giving them the politics that they want to hear. Like, hey, bigotry is not a good thing. Hey, treating people badly because of how they look is not good. Economic warfare is not a good thing. Being evil is not good. We've always had, that's why it's called good versus evil, and not kind of evil versus definitely evil. You see what I'm saying? Like, being good is not a foreign concept. All you have to do is just not be. All you have to do is just not be a jerk to people. And then we literally have movie after book after song after book after Bible verse of just basically telling you, hey, maybe don't be such a terrible person. Hey, maybe don't pick on people because you think it's funny. Hey, maybe don't oppress people because you're bored and stupid. And lazy. These are things that I just really do feel like as a society we just kind of need to like revamp and re-explain. And we have to do that with our artwork, because a lot of people are trying to now depoliticize art and make it more cruel, make it more stupid, make it more what's what I'm looking for? Not sub level. I'm trying to think surface level. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be able to say, it's funny because it picture. No, we need to not do that. We always need to be thinking deeper, because of the fact that the more we try to keep people stupid, the smarter people are going to be, and the more radical they're going to sound when they get smarter. Art has always been political. Art has always been political. Like, show me some artwork that is not political. Well, there was that guy who duct taped a banana to a wall, and that wasn't political. Have you actually looked into who did that piece? It's a guy who has political views. The thing itself probably wasn't political, but he is. And for all you know, it could have been from a political discussion, or who knows. There's a message everywhere. There's a moral of a story everywhere. And I'm going to get a lot of people that's going to probably tell me, yeah, well, actually, this thing is not. Okay, fine. Okay, what's not? All right, then. If this art figure is like, well, this stick figure is not political. Okay. Like, you do realize that by trying to tell me that something isn't political, you're kind of you're trying to start a political discussion, right? Because I'm ranting, but like, this video was just a long way to explain that Luffy would probably beat the crap out of Donald Trump if you fed him. Art is political, and just be mindful, just be more media literate. Like, just look into it, just pay attention to stuff. That's it. I'm gonna go back to being depressed now. I probably might go live later. I don't know.